In the beginning, God created a beautiful garden. It was called Eden. Adam and Eve lived there. They were the first man and woman. The garden was filled with delicious fruits and playful animals. Adam and Eve lived in harmony with God and nature. Adam as Adam. One day, a serpent came to Eve. It tempted her with a bite of fruit from the forbidden tree. The serpent told Eve that the fruit would make her wise like God. Eve, as Eve, I gave in to temptation and ate the fruit. I also gave some to Adam. God had told them not to eat from that tree. By disobeying him, Adam and Eve brought sin into the world. They were banished from the Garden of Eden. This was a consequence of their disobedience. The world became filled with wickedness. God saw the evil in people's hearts. He decided to send a great flood to cleanse the earth. But God found one good man, Noah. He told Noah to build an ark. Noah, as Noah, I was a righteous man. I listened to God and built the ark. I took my family and 2 of every animal onto the ark. Then the rains came. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The flood covered the entire earth. Everything outside the ark perished. After the flood waters receded, Noah and the animals left the ark. God promised to never flood the earth again. He placed a rainbow in the sky as a sign of his promise. David was a young shepherd boy. He was small but brave. The Israelites, David's people, were at war with the Philistines. A giant named Goliath challenged the Israelites. David, as David, Goliath was very tall and strong. He wore heavy armor and carried a huge spear. Everyone was afraid of him, but I trusted in God. I knew that with God's help I could defeat Goliath. I took my slingshot and 5 smooth stones. I faced Goliath with courage and faith. David swung his slingshot and let a stone fly. The stone hit Goliath in the forehead. The giant fell to the ground, defeated. David had won the battle with God's help. King Nebuchadnezzar ruled over Babylon. He built a giant golden statue and ordered everyone to bow down to it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were 3 young Hebrew men. They believed in God and refused to worship the statue. The king was furious. He ordered the 3 men to be thrown into a fiery furnace. The furnace was so hot that the flames killed the soldiers who threw them in. But when the king looked into the furnace, he was astonished. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were walking around in the fire unharmed. An angel of God was with them, protecting them from the flames. The king was amazed by their faith and set them free. Daniel was a wise and faithful man. He served King Darius faithfully. But, other officials in the kingdom were jealous of Daniel.
They tricked the king into making a law that said no one could pray to anyone except the king for 30 days.
Daniel knew this law was wrong. He continued to pray to God 3 times a day.
The jealous officials told the king that I was breaking the law.
The king was sad, but he had to punish Daniel. Daniel was thrown into a den of hungry lions. The king sealed the den with a stone. He hoped that Daniel's God would save him.
The next morning, the king rushed to the den. He was overjoyed to find me alive and well. God had sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths.
And so, Daniel's unwavering faith and trust in God delivered him from the lion's den. Section 6. A Star in the East, the Birth of Jesus. A long time after the stories of the Old Testament, a very special baby was born. His name was Jesus. An angel appeared to Mary and told her she would have a baby. This baby would be the Son of God. Mary and her husband Joseph traveled to Bethlehem. Jesus was born in a humble stable. A bright star shone in the sky, announcing the birth of Jesus. Wise men from the east followed the star. They found baby Jesus and worshipped him. Section 7. Enduring Lessons, Faith, Courage, and Redemption. These stories from the Bible teach us important lessons. Adam and Eve remind us that choices have consequences. Noah's story shows us the importance of obedience and faith. David teaches us about courage and trust in God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego teach us to stand up for what we believe in, even when it's hard. Daniel shows us the power of prayer and God's protection. Section 8. Inspiring Generations, the Power of Stories. The birth of Jesus is a story of hope and love. God sent his Son into the world to save us from our sins. These stories have been told for generations. They teach us about faith, courage, love, and redemption. These stories are timeless. They are just as important today as they were thousands of years ago. They give us hope and inspire us to live better lives. Section 9. The Path Ahead. Living with Faith and Courage. Like the heroes in these stories, we should try to be brave and kind. We should trust in God even when things are difficult. We should always try to do what is right, even when it's hard. The Bible is filled with amazing stories. These stories teach us about God's love and power. Read these stories and learn from them. Let them inspire you to live a life full of faith, courage, and love.